What's going on there, YouTube? Back again in the scale garage. This time we're going to do some work on the old number 2. It's been just about a year since I built this truck, and the only thing I've not really been happy with is the speed, and it just, it sucked. I couldn't get it to do a burnout even with me holding the front wheels. It just would spin, but it wasn't fast enough to do anything. And I'm not trying to race it or nothing. It has almost 1 millimeter of ground clearance, so it's not really the best driver, but it's all about the look on this. But my friend Capital DRC sent me that brushless ESC, and I had that old motor, that reactor brushless motor sitting around, and the thing just never really went. And after driving my monster truck with that Castle system, I finally took the time to do the research and figured out why it's not fast. That's an old school RC 4-wheel drive disruptor transmission that I used, and I just used it because it fit perfect. It was the right size, it was easy to mount, and it's also 14-to-1 gear reduction. So that ain't gonna work. And that's where I'm losing all my power. So I don't know yet what I'm gonna put in this. I don't have anything. I went to the hobby shop a couple weeks ago, hoping I could just pick up an SCX10 transmission, and they didn't have anything. The only thing that I could have pieced together there would have been like a Slash or Rustler transmission, but it's all gray plastic and it was big and bulky, and it was going to cost me more than it was worth to put one together piece by piece like that. So I don't have anything other than what is in my other rigs, and I can't use the R4 because there's nowhere to hide the motor. That diesel engine is not hollow on the inside, so we can't shove our can motor inside of there, unfortunately. I don't have any spare transmissions. I have a R3 single speed, but it's not really geared the way that I want to go. I have an old R2 RC 4-wheel drive transmission, but I think it's about the same gear ratio, if not worse. I looked at their website, and it said it was 10-to-1 up to 30-to-1, depending on what pinion gear you used. And I know it's all metal geared, and it has a funky pitch on the teeth on the gears, and I don't have a selection of gears that'll fit it, so I think I only had a very, very small tooth gear that it would fit with it, and I wouldn't really gain any gearing out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all this stuff out, and we'll start looking at what we can actually fit in there. The way I've got this stuff mounted just off little metal plates mounted on the brackets for the transmission, nothing fancy at all. I mean, it's kind of ugly. You can see some of the wires sit through the window, so but it does work. I can shove a battery in the middle here and kind of hide it. I don't really have a place to mount a battery, so we got to take that into consideration with how much space we use inside the body. So I stole this transmission from my SCX10. Pulled this giant monster out, got my 3500 kilovolt engine, motor, whatever you want to call it. The only problem with this transmission is the giant shaft on the spur with the slipper clutch. It just kind of sticks out kind of far, so I'm going to have to mount it a little further forward inside the cab. Shouldn't be too big a deal. I think... I'm trying to remember which side is going to rotate the right way. I think it's going to be, this will be my rear output shaft, of course the one that's hard to get to with the motor plate mounted on. But I might be able to take that off, because that was causing problems even on the stock setup. That was rubbing the drive shaft a little bit. Kind of a weird design, but whatever. Yeah, so this is the way I'm going to do it. I've got to figure out the placement. Make sure it's going to clear the body and everything. I got to make sure the drive shaft's going to be as close to the center as possible so it comes out the opening in the back of the body. And yeah, I'm going to get all my electronics. I got to find them a place. So I'm going to do some brainstorming here and come back. Alright guys, so got the transmission kind of mocked up whereabouts it needs to be. Only problem is I don't have a piece of metal that size wide enough to weld across there. So I'm considering cutting this angle, this square. It's bare steel. I just clean up the edges and weld it right on. I just have to chop a few inches off of it. Might be worth it because I really don't have anything. I have some aluminum stock that size, but yeah, I can't weld that directly to the steel. I can't bend it enough to use the existing holes, and there's not enough metal on the top edge of the rail to bolt to. So I may end up doing that. But that's around about where it needs to be. It clears the body back and side. It gives me a little space on this side to put a battery, and I have to figure out where the ESC and receiver can go. I was thinking if I use the angle part of it, I'm not sure you can even see that, use this part, I can have a lip here to help hold the battery or mount electronics to. I don't know. Let me keep thinking about this here. But that's about the width that I would like. It'd be nice and sturdy, easy to weld, and it'd hold up pretty well. You got to use what you got, I guess. I don't have anything scrap laying around. I'll do some more looking, but the widest steel I have is 1/2 inch, and that's 1.5 inches. So let me do some more looking. I hope you can hear me over the fan. I had to vent the room out after welding. I don't have very good ventilation, so I had to take a little break, let the smoke clear. Apparently that's a different kind of steel. It didn't like the settings that I normally weld my frames on, but it's on there. I had to turn up the voltage a little bit, and after several bad attempts at tack welds, it finally started taking, but it's not the best looking work ever, without a doubt. So luckily you won't be able to see it underneath the body. So I got my holes drilled for the SCX10 transmission, so it's time to start laying out everything, get the transmission mounted, and hope that it's all squared up and works right. Everything in. I had to run a lot longer drive shaft. I only had some plastic ones. Now my drive shaft cutout isn't tall enough because this transmission sets a little bit further forward. There's no way at all now I can cram a stick pack in here. The only place it fits is about across right there on the back, and we've got our spur gear there. So I'm gonna have to run just a little tiny nickel battery I've got. It's like a 1600 milliamp 7.2 volt, but I've got a charger right now. Should be enough to get a couple good burnouts. Hopefully it has the speed for it. Alright guys, so I got it out there. That little battery wasn't doing nothing, so then I shoved the big stick pack in there just kind of at an angle just to see if it's going to work, and it was going reverse. So I took it back apart, brought it back in, and I swapped some of the motor wires. Now everything's going the right way. So now we're going to try this again. I'm running out of daylight, so hopefully we can do some burnouts. Alright guys, so it definitely improved. It's still not as fast as I was thinking. Everything worked. I've got a couple issues other than the battery hanging out the window half the time. I think what I'm going to do once I finally get a better battery, the right size, I think it'll fit nicely up on the firewall. So I'll make some kind of bracket to put it up there where it can be well hidden and out of the way. One of my airbags came apart. My Lesu semi-truck scale airbags. It's been come loose a little bit before, but I lost the spring that was inside. Oh, I just found it. I was afraid it came apart when I was welding. So that hasn't been working very well. Luckily it sets so low anyway. You can see here it kind of came apart. Not sure how the spring sits into the top, but probably just going to have to it already disappeared again. Oh, there it is. Probably going to have to replace that airbag. May have to do some type of limiting strap, because I know it got stretched out and came apart from carrying it. But as long as I don't pick it up, not by the rear end, it'll be okay. But that's not great, so we need to work on that. Other than that, it drove pretty good. It was able to do some burnouts. Still not quite to the extent that I want. There's a lot of wobble in these dual tires, and I'm not sure where it's coming from. Last time I drove it, the lug nuts came loose, and they don't feel loose now. That side feels tighter though. Let me double check these. Okay, it's this size. Nope, that's the small one. So I don't know what's going on with that. The hub itself is tight. The lug nuts are all tight. So I don't know. It could just be not properly balanced. It is a toy, you know. But yeah, other than having zero ground clearance, it's pretty cool. Makes a weird noise, that brushless system. It sounds like a train. It's kind of strange, but anyway, this video's been long enough. I've been out here jacking around all day. But anyways, I appreciate you watching, and please like, subscribe, and share. And check out my other rat rod builds. I've got full video series on, not on the phone, on everything here in the background. And I've got an original driving video on the number 2, so you can see how slow it was to start with. And last week I put up the driving video for the farm truck back there, and it doesn't disappoint. It's got a lot of torque, a lot more ground clearance, and it's better in the gravel than it is on the concrete. So I think that may be the theme of future builds, is more of a all-terrain dirt road kind of truck, as opposed to this low slung. Yeah, just the low rat rod. But I don't know. Thank you for watching, and see y'all in the next video.